This hangout is live, everybody. This is Paul Romero here with the Wholesale Real Estate Investing number 217 on this, excuse me, January 29th, Freedom Friday show. My apologies, you don't see a Hawaiian shirt on me today, as you can tell with the cough and the nastiness that, yeah, I'm feeling under the weather today. I think I'm sick from motivation. Went to a seminar on Wednesday called Get Motivated. And not that I'm sick from motivation, actually from the motivation of the seminar. No, got real excited about a lot of that stuff. But I think I actually picked up a bug there. By the end of that afternoon, I was feeling cold. I thought maybe just because people had left the building, they hadn't adjusted the AC, that it actually was getting cold in there. And then it was about an hour to go left. I moved around in my chair a little bit. And I started feeling like, yeah, I'm feeling a little achy. And then by the time the thing ended, I got up and walked out of there, and I was just like weak. And I had that taste in my mouth, and like, yeah, got a cold here at the Get Motivated seminar. But so yeah, I'm sick from motivation. But regardless, it was a great thing. I mean, it was a fun event. Lots of good information. A couple of people that we really liked there. Les Brown, obviously, he was the headliner. We had some very good stuff, and another guy who was a local Phoenix, Arizona real estate agent for a lot of years. I don't know if he still is. I imagine he's probably retired by now, but funny guy just to listen to. I mean, his voice, the way he talked, the way he presented his material, basically almost like had me laughing the whole way. And just this really funny guy. But the way he talked about closing his deals and some of the deals that he did and this sort of stuff in real estate, really got a lot of good tips out of that guy for not just in closing real estate deals, but in closing any kind of deals. And so that was a real fun, exciting part. Obviously there's stuff being sold there. There's probably about 1,500 people in the room. Some of them actually paid to even be in the room. If you want to sit up front, you got to pay. Otherwise, you sit in the back like we did, which the back starts about halfway down. So, I'm not going to pay to go. And we actually bought one of the programs ourselves because it's about how to sell things on eBay. And you know what? We get stuff out of houses all the time, and we can sell it on eBay now. So that's for $50, I'll take that all day long. But probably I would guesstimate out of 1,500, 2,000 people that were there, maybe that probably at least a good 50 grand exchanged hands on that day. Hey, it's to be expected. That's what it's all about. The one thing though, the real estate program, and it's amazing how many people were really actually. That probably drew the most draw and excitement. The hands that went up in the air and everything was the real estate program. Wouldn't you agree, John?
You know what? It's always, I was just in my head going, always. Well, welcome to the Hangout, everybody. Yeah, for real estate is always a real popular thing, hence why we're in it, because it is truly a way to build wealth quicker than I want to be so clear, because it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. That's just the way it is. No matter what guru tells you how much potential money you can make on your flips and all that, it takes a lot of work to wholesale a property. It really does. But yeah, it seemed like the real estate always grabs the most attention. Quite honestly, I've been to a lot of real estate stuff, and I actually signed up for that one. The person I went with signed up for that one too. Very curious to see what they said. But hey, Paul, my ride just got here. I got to go check out a property. Sorry I didn't get to participate more. I love these hangouts. I got to miss it and run out the door. So, Paul, you're in good hands with Paul here today. So I'll catch up with you later.
Can you give everybody a quick drop of what you're going to do?
Oh, yes. Some of our team members found a property over on the East Valley. It was a drive for dollars. They found a vacant home, contacted the owner. They live in Washington. They want to sell, and they arranged for us to get in there and see the condition of the place today. It's been vacant since 2011. So I'm going to check out a property so I can make an offer.
That's totally awesome.
All right, man.
All right.
Later.
Oh wait, I'm not leaving. Okay, yeah. Well, I'm back. So yeah, so that's cool. Okay, so yeah, what John was saying there, yeah, about real estate. Yeah, it's not a get rich quick scheme. It is, and in fact, wholesale real estate, quite honestly, is not a path to financial freedom because wholesale real estate is something that you have to continually be doing and working in order to have income coming in. You know, if you're not out there getting deals, if you're not running out of a hangout going probably 40 miles across town to in traffic to go see a property and get a deal and get a contract and sell that contract and get some cash, if you're not doing all those things yourself, you know, you don't have any income coming in. So that's, you're not going to be getting to financial freedom because wholesale real estate is actually a quote working income. But the one thing about wholesale real estate is it allows you to earn income, excuse me, in sizable chunks that can actually make a difference in your life. I mean, even if it's only 2 grand, you know what I mean? 2 grand, you could probably pay off an old credit card bill. 2 grand, you could get the car fixed. 2 grand, you could, you know, you could do all these different things. And so it's a good working income to grab some chunks of cash that can allow you to get your life back in order, first of all, because I tell you, most people's lives are not in order. And that's the, you know, they have a lot of things that they're behind on money with. And you know, your first 2 grand, who knows? Maybe your first 2 grand is just going to get you all caught up on all your bills. You know, heck, even $500, maybe that can get you caught up on all your bills. So that at least you're in a position now where I can pay all my bills but one. But if I can flip one more deal, make another $500, I'm going to be getting ahead. Whatever it is that you can make on a deal, like I said, you can grab in chunks that can change. You know, help you make rapid positive changes, positive steps forward. That's what wholesale real estate is all about. It's about being a stepping stone to achieve what you want and work your way towards financial freedom. Interesting thing about the real estate program that was being sold there was, first of all, they offered it, I think, for only, I don't know, they think they came down on the price from 10 grand all the way down to $97, or maybe it was even less than that. I forget, $67 or something. But like we saw, like we were talking about on our last hangout, uh, you know, that $67 gets you to another event where they give you more information, and you know, if you want to proceed further, you know, you need to pay more. So that's where they get more money out of these. But these guys have a lot of money. I mean, a lot of money, because they're buying REOs, they're buying bank inventory directly from the banks. And you got to have a lot of money to do that. The banks don't, you or I can't call the bank and say, hey, you got an REO? I'd love to buy it from you. There was a day that you could do that. When the crash first hit, um, there was a lot of little banks that were going under. You know, a lot of little banks had bad loans. And you could call these little banks and say, hey, I got some cash. I'd love to buy one of those bank foreclosed REOs you got in your inventory there. They'd be like, yeah, here you go. Give me some cash. Thank you very much. But now, you know, all those little banks are gone. Um, they all either made it, got rid of all their inventory, made it. They're back on track without any bad loans, or they went under and got sold to the big banks, and the big banks took on their inventory. So the big banks still have a lot of that inventory, and these guys are out there buying up that inventory from the big banks, and that's what they bring to their program. They're bringing that to their program in a number of ways. And the interesting thing is they're going out there, and it sounds like they're taking this bank inventory that they got, they're offering it to their people to buy cash flow properties. So you don't have to go the wholesale fix and flip route. If you've got money already, you can get into their program and just start buying cash flow properties that they've already purchased from the bank at pennies on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar probably at the most. And then they go out there and they put some rehab into them. And then they might even get a renter in there or not, whatever the case might be. But they'll turn around and they'll sell these properties to you at 70 cents on the dollar. So they bought them for 20 cents, put in 10 cents, sell them to you for 70 cents. They're making 40 cents on the dollar with each one of these properties. That's pretty hefty. So if they bought, they bought $1 million worth of REOs today, they're selling those properties for, they're making a $400,000 profit off those properties. And $1 million in REOs isn't all that much, but regardless, that's just how they work their program. But the wholesale real estate side, that's where they get the most money. Like I said, that's a legitimate deal right there. You can go in, buy these properties, you're getting them below market value, and you've got cash flow out of them. So there's nothing wrong. That's a good deal there. The wholesale real estate side, though, is really where they make their money, and unfortunately, really where they sucker people in, because that's where they'll give you everything you need, but it's going to be totally up to you to put it into action. And they'll give you everything you need, except for really the two key elements that it takes to succeed, and that's more of your money and the dedication and devotion to succeed. And they'll give you everything you need, except for the two things that they don't teach, and that this is really all about marketing and sales, and it's not about evaluating houses and making offers, and that your ability to sell, your ability as a salesperson is going to, create how good and successful you are at this. Now, they claim they have a program. That does very well and has a very high retention rate for people that get in. I find it hard to believe, just because I know for a fact, I've seen it live, that most people who get into wholesale real estate don't stay in wholesale real estate. Most people that get into wholesale real estate never get into wholesale real estate. So I'm not sure what they base their statistics on. I'm sure they've got some piece of a formula there that can justify their numbers, but that's okay. The big thing is that some people are going to be successful with it. There's no doubt. Some people will be successful. Most people will not. And they'll make a lot of money from it. And that's unfortunate, I think, because a lot of people want to do this. They spend a lot of money on education. They never get anywhere. And I think that's unfortunate. And I think education in this world today is probably the big scam. We've been having education forced down our throats now for a century or more. And it's important, I don't know if it's been a century, but at least since what, the 30s or 40s or 50s or something like that, the emphasis on the importance of education and all that. And education, don't get me wrong, education is important, but it's the kind of education. And the big saying of that, the fact that knowledge is power, knowledge isn't nothing. Knowledge is a bunch of facts and figures and information, unless it's organized knowledge that's put into action. It's not the knowledge that's going to make you rich, it's what you do with the knowledge. So the education in my mind that's missing in this country and probably in this world, the part of the education that we're not getting, and which generally, from what I find, is for the most part accessibly free compared to all the other information, all the other education, which costs you buku up the butt money, is the education on how you can do the things that you need to do to be successful. The education on how you need to start thinking and changing the things that you do and the ways that you think And all of that education is virtually, for the most part, freely accessible. And that is so much the key element to success, is knowing that side of it. And yet the onus is placed on the, you know, compilation of facts and figures and information about a subject, that you can then take all that information and apply it to be successful. And for a certain, like I said, for a certain portion, that is true. For a person, I mean, you do need to know sort of like the how-to stuff, you know. I mean, you need to know how to get a contract. You need to know how to comp a property. And you need to know how to, you know, write a letter that works. You know, you need to know this stuff. But when it all comes down to it, what it all boils down to, and this goes far beyond wholesale real estate, this goes out into every job, every facet of work that there is out there. You know, you can be the best draftsman on the planet. You can draw up pictures faster than anybody with the most precise angles and the most acute, you know, line widths, and you know, all that stuff, and you can be the most awesome draftsman on the planet. But if you're not also a person who knows how to promote yourself, promote your wares, sell yourself, you're not a salesman of any kind, you know, you're going to get lost somewhere in the system as, you know, a top quality draftsman making some decent top quality money, but it's never going to take you to, you know, the top of, you know, those guys who are taking your drafts, your drafted material and making, you know, buku bucks, that they're not sitting behind the draft table all day long drawing the pictures. They're out on the golf course all day long talking about the guy that draws the pictures. That's the difference. So, and that education, like I said, that piece of education, be able to learn all that stuff, for the most part, is freely available. It's in books. There's a lot of books you can read that it's in. And, you know, there's a lot of free seminars and stuff you can go to. And it's just really a matter of you yourself figuring out that, hey, there's another piece to this education thing besides just stuffing my head full of facts, figures, and information. You know, if I don't know what to do with all these facts, figures, and information, why should I pay for them? Because quite honestly, if you get the other education free, you don't even have to pay for the other education, because you'll be able to discern what facts, figures, and information is real. Because a lot of those facts, figures, and information that you're getting in the paid education really aren't even real. Um, you know, you got to figure that facts facts are not always facts. Many times, facts are nothing more than someone else's opinion. So, I just want you to think about that. If you talk to two people on either side of the winning and losing sides of a war, you know, uh, the one side will tell you, hey, it's a good thing that we won because, but the other side is going to say that, you know, it's a bad thing that they won because. So, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing that they won? You know, the fact that the person that you talked to said it was a good thing, does that make it a fact? You know, if you look at the two sides and you say, okay, it's good because it's good we won because of this, and the other side saying it's bad they won because of this, and this, you know, let's just say this is the same thing basically, but there's two different views on this, and you look at the because, you might come to decide that, you know what, it's not good that those people won that war. You know, if that's what they were fighting over and that was the outcome of that war, the other people should have won. That would have been good. That's a fact. So I'm just saying, facts are not necessarily always facts. Many times they are just other people's opinion. And it's up to you to be someone who can discern opinion from facts and then use those facts to take action and become successful. So I got off on a little bit of a tangent here, obviously. Sick from motivation. Oh, shit. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, I did catch a cold. It's awesome that John and the team have something to go run out there and do. We got another deal closing this week. I got to get on some of that stuff, but had to come here today. We missed Wednesday because of the Get Motivated seminar, and even though I don't feel well today, we had to get here today and do this. So I thank you for showing up. All of you who have typed in where you're hanging out from, appreciate that. I'm going to cut this a little bit short, and I am going to finish off by saying, you know, the whole motivation thing, the Get Motivated event that we went to, the people up on stage didn't motivate anybody. They gave us a lot of inspiration. We got a lot of good information out of them, but they didn't motivate any of us. The interesting thing that I pulled from this, and I'm not a seminar junkie. I don't go to a million seminars all year long. I like to go to a few here and there. And I'd rather have a training than a seminar, quite honestly. But I do like to go because, as John said on the other hangout, that, you know, just being in the energy of a room full of like-minded people who all want and know they want something more in this world, that's a great place. That's a great energy to be in. Because when you go out to most places around here, you're not surrounded by people who, you know, want more out of this life. You're surrounded by a lot of people that are just have given up, are satisfied with where they're at, don't think they can get any more, whatever the case might be. So to just put yourself in that energy feels good. Secondarily, what I learned from this particular event this time, I don't know why, somehow or another, it just clicked this time, because I've always felt that this part of it, this part of the seminars, was always kind of a little hokey pokey and like, well, you know, what do I care? Excuse me, gosh. What do I really care about where you were and how you grew up and, you know, who beat you down in your lifetime and all of these things and why you never got anywhere until you decided to make, you know, this move and blah, blah, blah. You know, and yeah, now you're some rich, successful guy, you know, but why do I care about all that? And I realized in this particular seminar, because they never actually came out and said that your motivation comes from your story and your why you want it. They all told us their story and they all told us why they wanted it. They weren't telling us that for us. They were telling us that for themselves. They know their story. They know why they wanted it. They know what they went through to get it, which allows them to continue to keep doing more. And that's where your motivation comes from. But nobody on that stage ever stepped up and said, okay, this is the Get Motivated seminar. You want to get motivated? Go home and write your story. Perfect your story. Out of your story, create your why. Why do you want this? Build upon your why as to, you know, perfect your why and your story, and use that, your story and your why, to build your motivation, to fuel your fire, to get you going, to build your burning desire to go in the direction that you want to go. And then just go. And that's all you got to do. And that's where your motivation comes from. And they never come out and say that. And when none of them did that today on Wednesday, that's when I realized, even though they all told us their story and their why and all that, I realized that they weren't telling it to us for us. It wasn't for our benefit. It was for their benefit. Because the more you tell your story to other people, the bigger your fuel. It's like adding a log to the fire. Every time you see and express what your where you come from and your why, that you want to make a change in this world, it's like adding a log to the fire. And it takes a little while to get that fire going, but eventually it's going to turn into a pretty big fire, and then it's going to get you where you want to go. So get sick from motivation. Get yourself so sick from your own motivation that, you know, maybe other people are sick of hearing about your story and your why. So what? continue telling it to them, because eventually it's going to turn your story around, and your why and your story is going to create a result, which is one that you're after. So with that, everybody, it's 8:55. Like I said, a little bit short on time today, but that's okay. Go build your why. Go write your story and build your why. I could tell you the ultra short version of my story right here. Didn't have any motivation whatsoever, not from within, until age 45, because life was a party. It was fun. I always had a job. I always had a roof over my head. I always had food in the fridge. The bills were always paid. Sometimes I didn't have any money for a week because I spent it all partying the week before, and it all got taken care of the next week. I never had a problem in life. It was just grand, hunky dory until 45. One day I woke up and looked around and said, "Wow, you ain't got shit, Jackson. You better do something about this life and change it." And for 10 years, I started figuring out what was missing and what the hell I needed to do. And the next thing you know, it's starting to happen for me. So the longer you wait, first of all, I waited until 45, and I had no idea where to look or what I was looking for. Originally, I started thinking I just need a different kind of a work that can create a better opportunity. That wasn't the answer. It wasn't for about 5 years of pursuing that avenue of looking for a different kind of work that I started to realize that it wasn't the work at all. It was the worker. It was me. And so I started working on myself. That's when things started to change. So it took me 5 years to figure that out. 5 more years to get to the point where, like I said, it's actually starting to work. So the sooner you get started, the sooner you can get to creating it to get it to start working for you. And the younger you get started, the quicker you can get it to start working for you. Because let me tell you, the older you get, the more set in your ways you become, the harder it is to get the old shit out and put the new shit in that you need. That's the tough part. So with that, O universe, I ask not for more riches, but for more wisdom with which to make better use of the riches given to me at birth, consisting of the power to control and direct my own mind to whatever end I might desire. Sorry for being a lump on the log today for all you guys. I hope we still got some good information out for you. We'll be back here on New Op Day, and hopefully I will be feeling 100% by then. And we'll have a great show about negotiating people. Bye, everybody. Come on now.